Pushkin. This season of the Chinatown Sting has been about the rise and fall of one gang in particular, the Flying Dragons. I tried over and over to get the perspective of someone who'd actually been in the gang, but no one was willing to speak to me. Until now. Today, an interview with someone who's going to tell us about the harsh life he led in the gang, how it recruited kids, and how it all came to an end for him. I'm Lidia Jean Kott, and this is a special bonus episode of the Chinatown Sting. Cowboy, who now goes by CB, came to the U.S. from Hong Kong in 1971 when he was 6 years old. He joined the Flying Dragons shortly after he started high school. That was back when a man named Michael Chen, aka the Scientist, was the leader of the gang. In 1983, the Scientist was shot, and CB managed to stay on in the gang as it acquired a new boss, Johnny Eng, aka Onionhead. We actually heard CB's voice in an earlier episode. He was interviewed on the YouTube channel Chinatown Gang Stories.
Onion was like a different regime. He was like, go out, make money. Everyone. It was like the Soviet Union when they disbanded. You give them freedom, they're going to say to themselves, what the fuck am I going to do with it? We don't know how to make money except distributing drugs. So that was the new era.
CB would later serve almost 2 decades in prison for drug charges unrelated to the trial against Johnny, and then for racketeering. He was one of many Flying Dragon members indicted in 1994. He was released in 2007. I met with CB at a tea shop on Pell Street, right by the Flying Dragon's old headquarters. He was honest about how brutal the gang used to be, but not as remorseful as you might expect. I asked him why he joined the gang in the first place.
Well, for my early days, I was bullied. When I came to the country, I lived in the Bronx, of all places. So my conditioning started there. Like I always said, this was like 1971. Mm-hmm. If you look at my school year picture, I went to kindergarten, I think first grade, second grade. You see in the yearbook pictures, you see some brown faces, some black faces, white. There's only one yellow face, which was mine, in the whole school, and maybe in that whole damn community. I'm not kidding. So and listen, people don't understand. Kids are the meanest.
Oh yeah, no, I understand.
10, 11, every day when I went to school, it was an exercise in survival. I'm not kidding. I was walking in this side of the street with my little backpack. I see a bunch of kids there. I walk the other way, but they always see me. Every day it was like ching chang with me. So I had to either fight or flight. That type of lifestyle conditioning changed me in a certain way to begin with. You know what I mean? Long story short, fast forward. I'm in Queens Vocational High School. There was a branch of the Flying Dragons there. The Queens section right there. So I had a run-in with them. And they accosted me, approached me. Back then, there was a thing with Chinese, right? When you see another Chinese person and you think he's a gambler and not, you approach him and you literally confront him and say, where are you from?
To find out whether you're in a gang.
And you could tell by your attitude and your responses, you know what I mean? There was a purpose to that. One, you could root out enemy gangs. Mm-hmm. 2, it's a partial recruitment. You know what I mean? And young kids all want to belong to something. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I chose the Flying Dragons was they had a moral foundation. What they preached to me when originally was that we're here to protect the Chinese community. I mean, it sounds a little bit hypocritical though, but they said that we're not supposed to deal in drugs. We're not supposed to hurt civilians, meaning elderly ladies, women, children. We do not commit rape. You know, these are basic laws that they were told me. And I said, whoa, this is something I could get down with. Our apartments here, one of the cardinal rules was no girls can go up there. So our leader at that time, Michael Chen, right, it was very serious what he did.
He was the leader before Onionhead?
Yes.
And he was known as the scientist?
Yes. He had a lot of rules. He ran this with a strict iron fist.
So you moved into one of these apartments here on Pell Street as a teenager?
Yes. When I first came down here, my bed was 4 chairs put together.
Oh, wow.
Yes. You have to go through probation. He tests you to see, do you have the right stuff to be a full-fledged member? Actually, he also did psychological profiling. A lot of us were actually only sons. So we're looking to belong somewhere. And a lot of us, my fellow brothers of generation, we were all picked on.
I see.
And bullied.
He needed people who really wanted to feel like they belonged in the gang and were going to be committed to it.
Yes, because we were bullied. We wanted to fight back, but we didn't have the power to fight back. So he knew how to profile us that way. And in retrospect, he built an army of freaking ultra-violent people because we all had a common element of hatred for them. Ghost Shadows.
The Ghost Shadows, which
were... down there.
Yeah, not too... Yeah, I was going to say not too far also.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about the war with the Ghost Shadows?
But we fought every day almost, right? But it's political too.
Because you guys were both fighting for who was going to be the most important.
You know what? The line, or should I say the indoctrination that we were fed was that we are the protectors of this community, not them.
Right.
So in respect, we felt like Robin Hoods. And we felt that they were the Antichrist. So we had to combat them.
Right.
I mean, that's once again, that's we're teenagers too, young.
That was your
heads.
mindset. Exactly. Maybe they had the opposite story.
Exactly. Maybe they were taught something else too.
Yeah.
But this is what we were taught to believe in.
And what was the relationship between, because also on Pell Street you had the gambling parlor and then you also had the Hip Sing Association, right?
Right there.
And what was the relationship between you guys in your apartment and the...
Was it back then the days, right? The FDs, Nigerians, was the military arm for the Hip Sings. Okay, under the Uncle Seven regime, Uncle Benny regime.
Who was the head of the Hip Sing?
Yes, and he was fondly looked at as like the godfather of Chinatown.
Right.
You know?
What about, where were the Uncle Seven's gambling houses? Where were the locations?
Well, it's public information. Number 15 is over there, and the famous number 9 is right next to us. We had an apartment upstairs, which was used to monitor street activity and act as a protection over there. We had an apartment across the street there too, and one down there too. So all this was the purpose of just sleeping, not partying, nothing else. And you also use it as a place where you put the troops. You gotta be close by. Like, you gotta be close by to come out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Think of it as troop barracks. Barracks for the soldiers.
How did you get your nickname?
Cowboy? Let's just say I was a little bit like the image go, a little bit rambunctious and reckless when I was young. You know what I mean? As I was small. I was the youngest of the crowd. Young and small, but let's just say because I was picked on so much. I had fights with people come in and pull machetes on me.
Oh my God.
Every day was violence.
Yeah.
You know, when we were young, you know how we were trained to fight? Street fighting? I don't know, you know, back in the day, there was a lot of vagabonds, bums, how you would call it, on the streets of Maui. They lay all over the streets, all over. It's not like this. So our elders would tell us it sounds cruel to practice on them.
Oh my God, no.
But we would kick them out. We'd tell them to get off the street. But we thought we're doing a service because they're lying in front of business stores and everything, and we're here to protect the neighborhood, clean up the area, so we tell them to move. If they don't move, then, you know, obviously we will have to force them to move. And that's how we gain our training from, to fight in the streets. Drop of a hat.
Wow.
You know? Otherwise, if the normal layperson, you tell them right now to fight or hit somebody, you can't. You never hit a person. It's a little threshold that you don't know how to pass unless you did it already. To be violent on another human being is something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not something I'm going to say I'm proud of, but it's something that was conditioned for us to be. Just like soldiers.
In 1983, the body of Michael Chen, also known as the scientist, was found inside an office belonging to the Hip Sing, that community association on Pell Street. He had been shot to death. His murder was never solved, and the man who took over the gang after him would be a very different sort of leader. We'll be right back. I'm back with CB, a former member of the Flying Dragons gang in Manhattan's Chinatown. In 1983, after spending his early teenage years under the scientist's leadership, CB, now 18, had to adjust to life under a new leader, Johnny Eng.
Under Onionhead, it wasn't so strict. There wasn't that many rules that you had to follow. Under Michael, there was so much code of conduct. Mm-hmm. You have to carry yourself a certain way. You can't do this, can't do that, you know. But under Onion, it's more or less like go make money. But here's the problem. We were young. All we knew as kids growing up was rules and engaging in street violence. So it was only natural. The next thing that fell upon us was distribute drugs on a different level. Because we had the balls. You know what I mean? We spoke English. So it was a natural choice.
Why do you think Johnny, why was that his approach? Why wasn't he strict like the scientist? Just his personality?
His persona is different. He's not as controlling. You know what I mean? As controlling as Michael Chen was. So I guess there's something that fell on his lap too. I'm sure there's other people that want to step up for that position, but then there will be opposition.
Right.
He is one person with enough street creds. You gotta have enough street creds and time in for people to respect you. You know what I mean? So for you to take that role, then people will fall in line.
Right. And out of everyone we've talked to on the series, I think you probably know Onion the best. How would you describe what he was like?
What's he like as a person? You need to understand something. In the streets, we all have a persona. Nobody breaks out of character.
Okay.
And nobody really gets to know each other that well.
That's interesting.
It's like this, my nicknames, okay, they're not just for show. There's a purpose to it. I know my elders for freaking years and I don't know his real name. There's a reason for that. If I don't know your name, I can never be an informant on you.
Right.
There's a purpose to it, right? So that's why everybody got these colorful nicknames. Right? That was given sometimes because based on your personality, whatever, the people give a nickname and it sticks to you and that's what you refer to. Everything is on the need to know basis. And we don't know where each other lives.
But what was his persona? Just that he was a business guy?
It is much, much more business-like than Michael. He didn't put up the airs as much like that.
He was more casual.
You could catch him just sneakers and jeans and a t-shirt. Very unassuming.
It's so funny because if you read the newspapers, they're all Johnny, who was always wearing expensive suits.
No, he's very unassuming.
Yeah.
You see him walk on the streets, what's casual? He is more interested in making money, doing business, as opposed to trying to control territory, get into war, and all that stuff. All that stuff was just passe for us. Plus, a lot of us became, what's the word I look for? It's almost a little bit like post-traumatic syndrome. By the time Onion took over, a lot of us been through many years of ultra-violence.
Right.
You know
so Johnny came, you guys all had some PTSD. You were like, let's make some.
Everybody,
a lot of you guys had
a lot
PTSD.
of us, a lot of us didn't want to engage in the violence anymore.
Right.
And also we were growing up. By the time Johnny came in, we were now in our late teens, 18, 19. So we realized one thing, shit, we need money.
Right.
We
and then
need
you
to
were
make
like,
money.
how to make the money,
Exactly.
bring in the drugs. But were you aware of the risks of this was during the war on drugs, there was the mandatory minimums. Were you thinking about that?
Of course not. Of course not.
I did not. I thought you were going to say, of course we were thinking about it.
Of course not. Think about the mindset where gangsters, real, full-time, not weekend warriors, real gang, that's the life we lead. Live by the sword, die by the sword type of thing. So it's all part of the experience.
Right.
If you're going to be scared about that stuff, you can't be a gangster.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Were you thinking about the risks you were putting on other people? When you're asking the woman in the mahjong parlors to accept those packages of heroin, what could happen to them?
No.
The moms?
Nope. Because why? Here's the thing. Nobody's forced to do anything, really. Whoever volunteers Yeah, I mean, terms of drug trade, would receive packages. They did it for money. All right, maybe you had to pick certain people that was down on their luck or whatever, but still, it was through their own consent. I'll be honest, I myself received a package before. That's my first thing.
That's how you started.
Yeah, in that drug trade thing, I was paid $20,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, especially in 1980s.
Yes, but it was a do or die job, meaning all you had to do was sit there and wait for the package to come. If the package passed through customs, you get it, it's clean. But if it was intercepted and it was a sting operation, you're done.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was a do or die thing. I did it once only because I knew it was do or die.
Right.
And after that, I started to move up the chain of distribution instead of just being the mule of accepting, which is really start to find customers to distribute the product itself.
How easy was it to bring the drugs into the country, like to get the connections in Hong Kong? And
back then, it was pretty easy. I said technology was different.
Yeah.
You know, back then to send the package I received was just wrapped around with toys. In the middle, heart of it, was the actual product itself. Because a 700-gram brick is like the size of like a dictionary, like a thick dictionary.
It's big.
Yeah, thick, but this thick.
Yeah, that's quite big.
Yeah, 10 of them put together value like $1 million, which is about only this big. It brings me to a story when I was in China one time, right? Somebody shared with me how to conceal these packages was to smear the inside of it with tiger shit,
Oh my
tiger
God.
feces.
What?
Yeah, I said, what? He goes, you know why? This is what he said to me. I don't know if it worked or not, but he said, dogs have an intrinsic natural fear.
Oh my God, so
Of
the dogs
tigers.
wouldn't sniff it?
Yes. Instead of going toward it, they'll move away from it.
That's
back then,
urban legend.
Back then, the only thing they had was dogs and radar. I mean,
Right.
the X-rays. It's not like nowadays. Forget it. Where they see him, your freaking atoms. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I remember because I was in China and I asked some people. I said, "Listen, can you go to a zoo and find me some tiger shit?"
You did not. You actually
I'm
asked.
serious.
Wait, did you do it?
Yeah. Later on, when I started to try to move into importation myself, right, I actually found people in China. China, you understand, it's the death penalty to mess with drugs back then. It was still communist.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it took a lot of balls to do it. So I had to find people go to the zoo and give me some tiger feces. And I
Wow.
started to send it myself. Yeah.
Did that
I mean,
package make it safely?
Yeah.
To New York?
No, not New York. To Puerto Rico.
Oh, I
Because
see.
it wasn't a destination that was on the radar.
Gotcha.
And then I have my underlings from Puerto Rico bring it back into the States.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that then it was easy to come into the state.
Did you ever go to the Johnny's estate in Pennsylvania?
The shooting place? No.
Yeah. You never went?
Nope.
Oh,
No.
you know I went to it.
You went to it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
When you mean later on? not when he was around,
Actually,
right?
no, my good friend Onionhead invited me. No, I went like for reporting the podcast. It's
Oh.
now a shooting range officially. Mm-hmm. How come you never made it to Johnny's?
Well, under Johnny's regime, I was also doing other stuff. You know what I mean? I partner up with other members to distribute stuff. Some of it his product, not necessarily all his product. You know what I mean? So like I said, under Johnny's regime, he being a businessman, and while we all still one flag. You know
Gotcha.
what I mean? But
you were kind of doing a different thing.
Yeah.
So you
Well,
didn't get an invite to the shooting
you know
range.
what I mean? No, I'll be honest with you. To share a story, right? Johnny was obviously there's certain things that need to be done. Like sometimes people need to bring money back to Hong Kong, right? And you would get paid an X amount of money, strap money on your body to bring it back, right? I turned down that offer
I see.
because I said to myself this. I still remember. I said, when I go back, I'm going to go back on my own accord. You know what I mean? I'm going to go back not as a worker, but under my own choice. And I did later on. Well, I call it ambition, call it what you like. You know what I mean? I said, I'm going back as my own man.
You didn't want to go back smuggling
Cash
money
as-
for another
as-
guy.
Exactly. Something like that. Exactly.
But the law would soon catch up with CB and with the Flying Dragons. That's after the break. In 1991, CB was arrested for playing a role in a drug conspiracy, one that didn't involve Johnny. He was in the MCC, that jail near Chinatown, awaiting his trial. And then he saw a familiar face, someone who he hadn't seen for a while.
One day I woke up, I came out of my room, and I saw this skinny guy standing in front of the common area. Now, in MCC, I was already established. I was like, let's just say I was comfortable already. I had my own surroundings, everything. So I was, holy shit, who's that? Onion probably at that time was just extradited over here.
Yeah.
He was just extradited and he landed here.
Yeah.
And I saw him. I said, holy shit, Onion. But lucky he ran into me because I said, okay, you're my new roommate. At that time, I had clout in prison.
Right.
So I told the CO, hey, move my guy out. He's moving into my room. But that only lasted for a few days because I'm sure the prosecutors found out and split us up right away.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Was he a good roommate?
I mean, listen, he's my elder. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? There's no such thing as good or not good. You know what I mean? I still respect the fact he's my elder. So I did the best I can to hook him up, make sure everything is okay. Because in prison, right, especially detention center, the best spot is if you have a job in the kitchen.
Right.
Giving out, passing out food.
Uh-huh.
You know, because inside there's not much amenities, you know what I mean? Eating is one of them. So when you have the spot as the orderlies to distribute food, then you hold everything. So I get him a job in the kitchen.
Oh my gosh,
You know what I mean? To distribute food. But those are positions of clout, you know, in prison.
So you hooked him up.
Yes. You know what I mean?
And what impact did his conviction have on the gang?
There was a void. You know why? Because all the leadership was inside.
Yeah.
Once you have upper management and even middle management gone, the rest is just falls apart.
Yeah.
That's just like any organization, legit or illegit. And the
Yeah.
feds knew that too. The
Yeah.
feds know what they do.
I guess I was wondering, like, looking back, do you regret bringing drugs into the country and your time being in a gang in Chinatown and extorting shopkeepers?
But here's the thing though, when you, like the way we so-called extort shopkeepers, it's not like we go in there, flip their chair, no. Because all these, they're all members of the association. Everybody over there is a member of the Online Association. Everybody on this side is a member of the Hip Sing Association. So they pay their dues to the business association anyway. Now, when we go approach these stores, this is the line we tell them. Can you help support the young brothers in the street? Sometimes these restaurants, they say, sometimes we need a place to eat, right? And in return, we will protect you, for real. We will protect you. You have a problem, you call us, we're going to show up. And we do stand by that.
So you're more like mandatory bodyguards.
Yes. That's the best way to put it. It's mandatory security guard. You have to hire this security firm because we are the security guards of this whole neighborhood.
But like, I was reading testimony from people, because there were these congressional hearings in Washington in 1992, and there were a couple people from Chinatown, like small business owners, and they testified at this congressional hearing about the gangs. And one of them said, I'm a manager at a restaurant located at the heart of Chinatown, New York City, because my business location is controlled by a gang named the Flying Dragons. I'm constantly threatened and intimidated by them. As a manager of a restaurant, I have to try and show them a respectful manner, otherwise I put myself in danger. And they were there asking for, like, there to be a crackdown on the gangs, basically.
Well, here's the thing, though. We're not going to go in there and just intimidate you unless you don't go with the program. You have to go with the program. Every store has to follow the program because this section belongs to us. So nobody can buck the system. Same as over there too, on the other side. So I'm sure if he was bucking the system, then probably somebody had to say something to put him in line, put him in check. Usually, like I say, they all know they know the deal. That's the way to do business in China back then. If you don't be in this neighborhood around here, you had to pay your dues to the work association, the business association, and to us.
So in your perspective, you were just like one tiny little part of like a system that was much bigger on every single street.
Yes. That's the way business was done in China.
I mean, but now it's not.
Yes, it's not. I'll relay my feelings when I came back out after I was released from prison, right? I never felt so safe. I said, New York City is so safe. Do you know back then when I was out here, right? 24/7, I say. Every day I'm strapped. I have a gun on me every day. Not because I want to hurt somebody, because I need to protect myself, because that's how New York City was.
Yeah.
But when I came back out in 2007, I said, wow, you could walk anywhere and you feel safe. They cleaned everything.
Yeah.
And that was a good thing.
Do you think the gangs will ever come back?
Not like in that form. Nowadays, you have a lot of crews, 5, 6 guys. They don't have a name, but they're out here to do business, not to make trouble, not to take over territory, and not to extort anyone. So you still have people that have to conduct illegal businesses. That's true of everywhere. You know what I mean? But in the terms of an actual crew raising a flag,
Organized crime.
the feds did away with that already. RICO.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do that because right away you set yourself for a RICO conviction.
Do you think that's better? This new way of doing crime?
I'm not going to say it's better, but all I know is this. Listen, the streets are safer.
Yeah. What are you doing now?
I moved to different industries. You know what I mean? For a while, I was in the KTV business.
What's that?
Karaoke. Now I'm in the restaurant industry.
And what can you say about what Onion is up to now, if anything?
He's a businessman, legitimate businessman. I'll say this, yeah, he's totally legit because I know, because he works his ass off. You know what I mean? In the industry he's in. You know what I mean?
In
It's
Hong
very
Kong?
rough. Yes, it's a very rough industry he's in. And, you know what I mean? He has his ups and downs.
Can you say what the industry is or no?
Seafood distribution.
What do you hope people learn from this story of like when the gangs ran Chinatown in the 1980s and then stopped existing? What's the takeaway?
You know, I think the Italians has always been romanticized, etc. In the movies and stuff, right? But really little do they know that the Chinese were doing their own thing too. But just that we're much more secretive. We didn't want that much attention. So it's a part of history. We're just clarifying history. And this part of what it was. Now everything is clean. It's great, you know. So at least I'm around to talk about it, you know. So that's a good thing, you know.
Yes. Well, thank you. Should I call you Cowboy or CB?
Nowadays, everybody call me CB.
Well,
I shortened it. Too much baggage
With-
for Cowboy.
Well, thank you so much, CB. for
Thank you.
coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
It was
a
really
pleasure.
nice getting to know you.
Thank you.
CB is a former member of the Flying Dragons. This episode of the Chinatown Sting was produced by Sonia Gerwit and edited by Julia Barton. It was engineered by Sarah Bruguiere. Our executive producer is Jacob Smith. Our music was composed by John Sung, with additional music by Jake Gorski. Special thanks to Mike Moy of Chinatown Gang Stories for connecting me to CB. The Chinatown Sting is a production of Pushkin Industries. To find more Pushkin podcasts, listen on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Lidia Jean Kott.